Welcome to COMET-Farm tutorials. Today we'll be talking about successfully adding cover crops. In this scenario, we've created a rotation of corn and soybean, but are interested in adding a cover crop. To do this, you must go to the last step of management for the year that you'd like to add your cover crop. In this case, we want to add it to the year 2000, so we must go to the last management step, which is burning. From here, you scroll to the bottom of the page and select Next. Here you'll be prompted to add an additional crop for the same year, and so we want to select Yes. When you scroll up back to the top, just like when you were adding your first crop, you'll have the option to make it a seasonal cover crop. And from the drop-down menu, I'll be able to select winter wheat, which is our choice of cover crop for this scenario. COMET-Farm will often set a default planting date for your cover crop, but you may get a warning that says, please ensure that you do not have more than one crop growing at a time and that your planting and harvest dates do not overlap. We can only model one crop growing at a time. Here we can see that our corn is planted on May 14th and harvested on October 10th, while our winter wheat is planted on February 1st and has no harvest date. Again, I emphasize that COMET-Farm cannot support growing more than one crop at a time on the same parcel or field, so we're going to need to adjust those dates. Since our winter wheat is currently overlapping with our corn, we can click on the calendar icon to select a better date. Our corn is being harvested on October 10th, so any date after that should do. Let's go with 1 week later, October 17th. While this resolves the issue of our corn and winter wheat overlapping, we now need to make sure that our winter wheat does not overlap with next year's soybean. Our soybean is being planted on May 24th, so we need to make sure that our winter wheat is either killed or harvested before that. Back on our winter wheat page, we can accomplish this by selecting Add New Harvest, and then using that calendar icon, we can select any date prior to May 24th for a harvest or kill date. By setting that kill date to May 1st, the winter wheat no longer overlaps with soybean and neither do the tillage events. Even once those dates are entered correctly, you may still see that red error code, so just toggle back and forth between your crops and hopefully that should disappear. Now that we've successfully added a cover crop to the first year in our baseline, our last step is to copy this management to the other years. In order to do that, I'll scroll down to the button that says Skip Ahead. When I'm prompted to add an additional crop to the same year, this time I'm going to say no thanks, continue, and I'll just check every other year in my baseline for which I want that corn with a winter wheat cover crop. From there, I'll click Save and Continue, and you'll see that my baseline will auto-populate with that crop rotation of corn, winter wheat, and soybean, and those planting dates are not overlapping, so we don't get any of those red error messages. The last thing I'll bring your attention to is an article in our Need Help widget. If you type in the word overlap, you'll see an article that's called Crops with Overlapping Calendar Years. And there you'll get an example set up with a cover crop where it gives you an example of crops that are planted and how their planting dates cannot overlap. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can visit our Need Help widget for answers to frequently asked questions, or you can email us at appnrel@colostate.edu. Thank you.